Have you ever heard about the man who seemed to predict the Titanic disaster 14 years before it happened? Because this story is so strange that many people still believe it was impossible to be a coincidence. In 1898, an American writer named Morgan Robertson published a short novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. The story was about a gigantic luxury ship called the Titan, which was considered unsinkable. The ship was the largest ever built. It carried wealthy passengers across the Atlantic Ocean. And one cold April night, it struck an iceberg and sank. Sound familiar? 14 years later, in 1912, the Titanic made its first voyage. It was one of the largest ships ever built. It was widely described as practically unsinkable, and in April it struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sank. Even stranger, both ships were said to have too few lifeboats for the number of passengers on board. When people later compared the fictional Titan to the real Titanic, the similarities shocked the world. But Morgan Robertson wasn't a time traveler. He was simply a writer who understood the direction shipbuilding was heading. Ships were becoming larger, faster, and more luxurious, while safety rules often failed to keep up. Still, the similarities remain one of the strangest coincidences in history. Because years before the Titanic ever existed, someone had already written the story of a giant, unsinkable ship meeting an iceberg in the Atlantic Ocean. And that makes many people wonder whether it was a prediction or just an incredible coincidence.